Are you struggling to push trophies? Are you constantly raging because randoms are screwing you over one game away from that next rank? Well, fear no more, because today I'll show you every single brawler and exactly how I got it to rank 25 without having the max level. Now obviously having the max level is going to help a lot, but I was able to do it with level 5, level 6, and level 7 brawlers, so I'm sure all the free-to-play players can do it as well. Now one important thing to note is that every game I did here was with randoms. Unlike a lot of other pro players who tend to show trophy pushing, with other pros like OG and Bobby, I did this all with randoms so that you guys can have a perfect idea of how easy this is. Now the first brawler we're talking about is Surge. Now Surge I found was the most easiest to play in solo showdown, by far the easiest in solo showdown, and the reasoning is because it all comes down to your skill. You don't have to depend on your randoms or your teammates. You don't have to worry about your opponent scoring or teaming on you. It's all about you, how well you can play. Because in a mode like Brawl Ball, if your opponents score or if your teammates score, your upgrades are gone. You have to start all over from start, and that's exactly where Surge is weakest. You have to make sure that your Surge is constantly upgraded, and that's exactly why solo showdown is such a great place to do it, because there's 10 people that you can charge your super on, which is the most in any other game mode. So you can see right here, even though there's a bot, which Surge struggles with tremendously, we're still able to take out 6 to 7 players in this lobby, and this Surge, even though he's pressuring us, can't do anything. We're just going to teleport right out of there, and I definitely do recommend using Surge in solo showdown if you are able to. Now obviously, if you prefer a different game mode, that's totally fine. Everybody has their own preferences. Second, we have Mr. P, the penguin himself. Now with Mr. P, I would strongly recommend playing him in Brawl Ball. This is how I did it. Obviously, I know he's very good in gem grab as well, but for me, I found him easiest in Brawl Ball, and that's simply because in Brawl Ball there's a lot of good maps that are long range and also have a lot of walls, which exactly suits Mr. P's playstyle. His control and the amount of range he has allows him to go up against a lot of strong bounty brawlers like Bea, like Spike, like Mortis, a lot of different things, especially once he gets that porter up. That's the most important thing. Key thing with Mr. P is to wait until you have that porter. Once you have the porter, you can really start dominating right here, and make sure you're using those gadgets if you have it really well. You don't even have to have a star power, but it's really important to use that well. Third brawler, we have Pam. Now Pam, obviously the thickest brawler, but for Pam, I would strongly recommend playing her in solo showdown. She is definitely a dominant force in solo showdown, and definitely use Mama's Hug, because a lot of different other solo showdown brawlers like Crow actually struggle a ton with Pam, and when Pam uses Mama's Hug, it makes it even harder for them to kill her. Now you can see right here with Pam in solo showdown, she's pretty much good on all solo showdown maps just as well as Surge. But the most important thing to keep about with Pam is to try and keep your distance until you're able to get that super. The super is Pam's saving grace. That's where her gadget comes into play. That's where her star power comes into play. So really make sure that you're able to get that super. Otherwise, with Pam, try to play a little bit passive, because she honestly doesn't do as well as you might think. Fourth brawler is Bea. With Bea, again, another underrated showdown brawler. People tend to think Bea, Brawl Ball, but for me, I found Bea to be most effective in solo showdown, especially since all I had was Honeycoat. And now Honeycoat is definitely where you want to be playing Bea, is in solo showdown. It's completely broken, that extra chance at life, and you can see we were able to take out that bow because of the Honeycoat, and this Surge isn't willing to approach us because we have Honeycoat, and he knows that. Right here, next brawler we're talking about is Crow. Now for Crow, I would definitely recommend, if you can, use Carry On Crow. This is absolutely broken, and Crow, definitely play him in solo showdown. This is his 100% best mode. I was able to get my Crow to rank 25 with a level 1, and that's exactly how I did it, was playing Crow in solo showdown, playing it passive. And honestly, I would say the biggest tip for you guys, if you have really under-leveled brawlers, and I'm talking level 4, level 5, maybe even level 7, play them in solo showdown. Next brawler we have is Brock. Brock is a very nice rangy brawler that I, for a long time now, have been saying is one of the best brawlers in Bounty alongside Piper. Now you can see right here, Brock, I'm using Incendiary because of that ability to hold control in zone. Next brawler we got is Max. Max, obviously a very speedy brawler, and the ability to provide speed with that super to the opponent is what makes him so good in Brawl Ball. 100% his best game mode is Brawl Ball, and this is exactly what I did. I didn't even have a maxed out Max when I played him in Brawl Ball, but this is exactly what I would recommend everyone to play him in, is in Brawl Ball. Now, you can also use the other star power if you have it, it's not a problem, but personally I find running gun to be the most effective. And in Brawl Ball, another reason why Max is so good is because a lot of people actually underestimate how fast he is. Okay? Next brawler we got is Bull. Bull has been a terrible brawler in the meta, but I was able to get him to rank 25 through Heist. Now, Heist is definitely where Bull shines. This is his only viable mode, so don't even think about playing him in other maps. Just play him in Heist, and definitely, if you're going to play him in Heist, I recommend using Berserker if you have it. Next brawler we have got is BB. Now, BB for sure is going to be best in Siege. Her star power home run gives her that extra ability to run faster and get to that first bull, especially when paired with Gale. It's extremely broken, and this is exactly how I was able to push BB to rank 30 actually, so definitely recommend using her there. Next brawler we've got is El Primo, another tank that's struggling in the current meta, but where I was able to find success with him was in solo showdown. I didn't even have a star power when I pushed him, but I had his gadget, and that's really important in solo showdown to get out of those tight situations. Right here you can see, in solo showdown, El Primo's high HP makes him really, really good, very hard to kill, especially since he is such a great, close range brawler. Next brawler we've got is going to be Cole. Now, Cole for the longest time has been an absolute dominator in Heist, and this is exactly where I got him to rank 25, especially with that addition of the new gadget. There is so much value you can bring to the team. You simply cannot leave a Colt alone on the safe, and I would definitely recommend using Slick Boots because that added speed is really, really important. I think people often just forget how important speed is. Next brawler we've got is Penny. Penny, I think personally, is going to be the most effective in Gem Grab, and this is exactly where I pushed her. I used, her as a mid in Gem Grab, and personally for a star power, I definitely think, obviously it's your choice, but I definitely prefer Balls of Fire. I think the value from that is so much better because it just gives you zone control. Next brawler we've got is Rico. For Rico, I played Rico in Gem Grab very, very easily on this map, and this map particularly, I used Robo Retreat because the ability to just run faster, I think people really, really misunderstand how important that is in certain situations. If you're trying to get out with gems, or if you just need to stay alive to keep control, it's so important. Next brawler up we have is Frank. I was able to push Frank up to rank 25 in Brawl, and I think everyone can agree that Frank absolutely excels in Brawl. This is definitely one of his best modes because his high HP allows him to not only, destroy other people really, really easily, but also he can walk balls in really easily because with Sponge, he has over 10,000 health, making him such a tanky brawler to take out, and a lot of people just simply cannot deal with that type of health, especially since the dominant brawlers in Brawl are low HP. Next mode we've got for my boy Jessie, and Jessie I would definitely recommend playing her in Gem Grab 100%. This is one of her best modes, but I personally, why I love playing Jessie in Gem Grab is because of her turret, and that's exactly what makes Jessie viable, is the fact that her turret can do so well at trapping enemies if you have the gadget. With the gadget you can slow them down, and I personally prefer using Energize as a star power. Next brawler we've got is Sandy, another brawler that excels extremely well in this mode Gem Grab. Now, another reason why I prefer Sandy in Gem Grab over Brawl is because in Brawl I just found that sometimes her DPS isn't enough to deal with tanks like Frank. As I just mentioned, tanks are so difficult to kill in Brawl, especially if they've got Poco double tank. That's why Sandy, I used to play her in Brawl, but I slowly realized that Gem Grab was a lot better, and I would definitely recommend using Rude Sands. Next brawler I want to show you guys is Ems. Now, Ems, definitely play her in Brawl. Her star power hype gives her so much value in this mode. This is definitely going to be one of her best modes, and I found her so easy to push to 750 in this mode. Didn't even have her at max level, but if you have her max with the hype, look at the value you can get. Absolutely insane. Next brawler we've got is Tara. Tara has been such a great brawler after her buff, which increased her damage to almost 2,000. I definitely recommend playing her in Brawl Ball with the star power Healing Shade. This gives great value to all of your teammates while also allowing you to make really nice goals, and in a lot of different Brawl Ball maps she's very effective. Next brawler we have Nita. Now Nita, one of my favorite brawlers to play. I definitely recommend playing her in Heist. This is where I got her to max level, especially since I didn't even have her at level 10. I had her at level 7, and that just goes to show how good she is. Once you get that bear down, it's really, really important for you to use it on the Heist save and try and get as much value out of that as possible. And in Heist, I think another reason why she's so good is with that hyper bear and gadget stun, she's just able to deal so much damage. Next brawler we've got is Poco. Now Poco works very well in Brawl or Gem Grab, but once again, as I said, this is about how I got these brawlers to rank 25, and for Poco, I found that Gem Grab was extremely effective because on many different Gem Grab maps, tanks actually do, like Rosa, work really, really well, or other brawlers like like Pam. A lot of pretty tanky brawlers work really well in gem grab, so I recommend playing Poco in gem grab. Just that ability to heal your teammates is super well, so I definitely recommend using Da Capo if you have it, but if you don't, it's also fine. Just use Poco and use that super to the most effectiveness you can. Now, another suggestion I would say, if you're playing Poco, make sure you're playing the mid position, because that's where Poco excels, being able to support all the different brawlers, whether it's a lane brawler or an aggro brawler. You can see right here, we're able to heal up so much consistently that it's really hard for the opponents to kill you when you're using Poco. That HP, people underestimate, a lot of times I find people underestimate how unkillable Poco is, because yeah, it looks like he has 5,000 HP, not too much damage, but once you realize how much that gadget heals and how much that star power heals, it's OP. Next brawler we're showcasing is Rosa. Now Rosa, I would highly recommend playing in gem grab. As I said, pairs really well with healers like Poco and Pam, but especially since her ability to build bushes allows her to sneak up on enemy gem carries so well, and also that plant life working so well, I think it's definitely an easy, clear winner for her to be played in gem grab. Now obviously she can be played in Brawl as well, but again, I found the most success in gem grab, and I think you guys will too. In a lot of different gem grab maps, there's a lot of bushes. It makes Rosa so easy to play if you can just have that gadget. It's pretty important to have her gadget. I had her gadget when I was pushing her to rank 25. If you don't have it, I would probably recommend using Solo Showdown. Next brawler I'm going to showcase is going to be Darryl. Now Darryl, in my opinion, I played him in Heist. It's definitely one of the better Heist brawlers. If you pair him with Gale, guys, it's absolutely broken. Gale, Darryl is an absolutely broken combo that I've been experimenting with recently. I played him with steel hoops because I found that even though the double reload speed with rolling reload was pretty nice, most of the time you died before the extra ammo really paid off. So I definitely recommend using steel hoops to stay alive, because control is always number one. But you can see right here how well we're able to do, especially with this this new ability, this new gadget where he's able to just get his super so quickly. After that update came out, I was so happy with Darryl. Next brawler we're showcasing is Jackie. She was so good in Brawl before, and I still think she is. This is definitely her best game mode, but her extra HP and her gadgets allow her to do so well with scoring goals, also being able to team up enemies really well. Even though she's been nerfed a lot, I still believe she is really, really well and effective in Brawl Ball. Next brawler I'm showcasing is Leon, the master himself, the solo showdown god himself. Definitely use Invisi Heal. Play him in solo showdown. He's really not great in 3v3 right now, but if you're able to master how to use Leon and those gadgets effectively, and I definitely recommend, if you're playing Leon in solo showdown, have the star power and have the gadget. Those are really important assets. I had those when I was pushing him to rank 25, but personally I think it's possible to do it, but it's really hard to do it without it. Next brawler I'm showcasing is Jean, Bobby BS's favorite brawler. But anyways, with Jean, I definitely recommend playing her in gem grab, or is it a he? You guys tell me. But in gem grab, Jean's ability to pull opponents is so crucial, and since gem grab is a team mode, definitely use magic puffs. It suits him so well here, since a lot of maps you'll actually find that they are very close together with your teammates, but Jean's range is very nice there as well. Next brawler we're showing is a shotgun goddess, Shelly. I mentioned this in a previous video, but Shelly's definitely only viable game mode right now is definitely going to be Brawl Ball. With her, I definitely recommend using Shell Shock as a star power, because that ability to slow down opponents creates so many beautiful opportunities, and your teammates will truly appreciate you if you use Shell Shock rather than Band-Aid, which is a very solo showdown oriented star power. Now, it's not necessary to have a star power and a gadget with Shelly, just having her as a basic level 6 or level 7 will do just fine. Next brawler we've got coming up is Carl. Now, Carl is really, really good. I think the best game mode to play him, in my opinion, is Brawl Ball, and this is exactly where I did it. I played him with Protective Pirouette because I personally felt that the extra shield allowed me to make a lot more team wipes. Now, this was back when gadgets weren't as strong, so he did very well. Nowadays, I would recommend to use the other star pad, but Protective Pirouette was what I used, and once again, this video is about what I used to get to rank 25, and I think you guys will be able to do pretty well with Protective Pirouette as well, because a lot of these gadgets like Jean's gadget, M's gadget have been getting nerfed, so Carl works pretty well there. Next brawler we've got is Piper, my girl Piper. Really, really fun brawler. Ash, BS's favorite brawler. Now, personally, I think her definitely best move can be Bounty. She's always been the Bounty Queen. Definitely use Snappy Sniping because not all Bounty maps have a ton of grass, so Ambush isn't as good on a lot of different maps, so Snappy Sniping is going to be the more consistent star power in my opinion. And why she works really well in Bounty is pretty self-explanatory. She's got an insane range, and of course her ability to jump out of tight situations is really crucial. Next brawler we've got showing up is Dynamite. Now, Dynamite for the longest time has been a pretty weak brawler, but I personally think you can play him in Heist very well. This is where I got him to rank 25, and I use a star power Demolition. Now, Demolition is a lot better than you know, the jumping star power, despite what a lot of Dynamite pros will tell you. In my opinion, I still prefer Demolition. For the 99% of population, I would say use Demolition. That extra damage is something you got to respect. But you can see here, very effective. Next brawler we've got shown for you guys is going to be Mortis. Now Mortis, no, don't play him in Brawl Ball, even though I always do. Personally, I was able to get him to rank 25 in Gem Grab. He's actually one of the best Gem Grab brawlers on a lot of different maps now, especially with that new gadget. He's really effective in Gem Grab, because a lot of people play long range brawlers in Gem Grab, like I like to play Penny, Rico, Colt, Nani. A lot of these very squishy brawlers that Mortis does very well against. Now, for Mortis, I definitely recommend using Coiled Snake. That Coiled Snake star power allows you to get so much closer to your opponents, allows you to do that extra damage, and it also allows you to make these long-range plays when other people aren't expecting it. And you can see right here, although the other star power would be also decent, this is just how I was able to do it. I was able to push him to rank 25 with Coiled Snake and Gem Grab. You can also do him in Brawl Ball. If you find more fun doing it in Brawl Ball, go ahead, but I did it in Gem Grab, and I think most people will agree. Next brawler we've got coming up is Spike. This is OG's favorite brawler, of course. Now, the reason I love playing Spike in Heist is pretty self-explanatory as well. That gadget is so crucial. If you're going to play Spike in Heist, make sure you have the gadget, because that's the #1 reason why he's good in Heist. And for the star power, I would say use Fertilize for the most part, because that extra healing is so crucial. And although a lot of people will say Curveball is more like easier to hit shots with and get value out of, I found that this extra HP allows you to get a lot more damage, and in Heist, that's really what matters. Next brawler we've got is my boy Sprout. Now, Sprout has been getting nerfed quite a bit, but it's still really important to realize that he's still great in Bounty. He's still one of the best brawlers in Bounty, especially on maps like this. I think Sprout would definitely want to be using Photosynthesis now. The Overgrowth star power is not as good, not even close to what it was before, so definitely use Photosynthesis if you can. For the gadget, it's also pretty important, because with the Photosynthesis, that 2,000 extra health actually becomes like around 4,000 to 5,000, so definitely use that if you can. But right here, you can see Sprout dominating with that range. It's what really makes him so good, that long range. Next brawler we're showcasing is 8-Bit. Now, 8-Bit obviously is solo showdown god, but you really have to make sure you have extra life. I personally, guys, did not have extra life, so don't worry. If you don't have extra life, you can still play him in solo showdown. You just have to be a little bit more careful and more passive. You don't have to play so aggressive, because when you have the extra life, you're able to play a little bit more aggressive, but without it, you have to play a little bit conservatively, in my opinion. Next brawler we're showing is Gale. Now, Gale, pretty self-explanatory why he's good in Siege. With that extra ability to have the gadget now allowing him to jump forward and bring his teammates now, it's so crucial to play him in Siege, because getting that first bolt is so important, and constantly being able to jump in after dying is what makes him so good in Siege. I think the star power that's best for Gale is personally, I think both star powers are good, if I'm going to be honest, but I think the best one is Blustery Blow. That ability to just stun the opponents on the walls allows you and your teammates to get so much value and charge your supers off really easily. So definitely use Blustery Blow, because that's what I used, but personally, I think Gale could also be played in other modes, but definitely play him in Siege. Next player we've got going on is Tick. Now, Tick, I played him in Bounty very effectively. I think you guys will find him pretty effective in Bounty as well. He can be played in other game modes like Siege pretty decently, but I think Bounty is a mode to go with, because a lot of Bounty maps offer long-range brawlers like Brock, Piper that are very susceptible to take like 3 or 4 shots. So definitely use Tick, and definitely use Well-Oiled, because Well-Oiled allows them to heal up so much faster, and in my opinion, healing is one of the most important things in Bounty. So definitely use Well-Oiled. This is how I got him to rank 25. And personally, I would say you don't even need the gadget. The gadget's not that important. Just make sure you have a star power. Honestly, is what's going to make the huge difference here. The gadget really is only effective if they have a close range brawler like Mortis that's getting too close to you. For the most part, you're going to be at a distance anyway, so I don't think the gadget plays too much of a role. I actually pushed Tick to rank 25 with level 7, so you can do it as well, I'm pretty sure. Next one we've got is Nani. Nani right here, I think I was able to get her down in solo showdown, even though I think she's also very effective in gem grab. I found solo showdown to be easier, mostly because in gem grab you kind of have to rely on your teammates, and a lot of times you're not able to provide the opportunities that Nani requires, whereas in solo showdown you can kind of just play a little more passively, get a few boxes, and you'll be able to do just fine. But right here you can see the teleportation doing so well in solo showdown. Next brawler we've got is going to be Barley. Barley for the longest time has been good in Siege, but I personally loved Barley in Heist. I think that ability to hit over walls was so important. A lot of people couldn't deal with it, you know, especially if you have the star power medical. It's just so freaking good, guys. Definitely, if I recommend you guys definitely use Barley's star power medical use if you have it, because every single time you throw, it gives you 400 health. You practically don't have to heal. Just keep tossing your shots, and you're gonna be just fine. Doing so much damage, especially on this map right here. Like, you can just keep going around, ring around the Rosie, and they'll never be able to catch you. And Barley does a lot of damage over time. 2 ticks per shot. That's around 18 to 1900 damage. So I definitely recommend playing Barley in Heist. Now, the gadget is pretty nice. It's a quality of life type thing. You don't need to have it. When I pushed Barley, I didn't have it, but it's all good. Last brawler on this list I want to show you guys is Bo. Now, for Bo, I definitely recommend playing him in solos or duos. I personally did it in solos just because I didn't want to rely on a teammate, but I definitely recommend if you're playing in solos, actually use a totem to charge up your super. That's so important. That's all I'm going to have for you guys today. If you have any other video suggestions you want to comment down below, make sure you do so. I read every single comment, but thank you guys so much for supporting me. Like and subscribe, and until next time, peace.